MMA Rants and Raves, Randy the Natural Couture versus Rich the Ace Franklin. Now, I just heard that this fight might happen. It seems like the UFC spilled the beans and threw out a tweet that Randy's going to be facing Franklin. Now, they didn't mention when, but it looks like the fight's going to happen. Now, if the fight does happen, I'm going to make a prediction on it. But before I do, I want to talk a little bit about Randy the Natural Couture. I've been hearing a lot of smack about Randy. People are saying, things about his age. He's came down to 205. He's 2-0. He looked unbelievable against Coleman. And, you got to give Coleman some credit, despite what people are saying about him. He gassed out Shogun, fought a great fight, dominated Stephen Bonner. So, and then, people predicted it would be a good fight, and some predicted even a war. But to see him dominate Coleman like that was, wow. Blown away by Randy Couture's performance. But anyway, what I want to say about Couture, as far as what people are questioning about his abilities, he's an extremely intelligent fighter. He has his own training outfit called Extreme Couture. He trains himself. He is a trainer. He is a fighter. He's been through it all. Now, this guy knows. He's a legend in the sport. He works around the greatest people in mixed martial arts. Before every fight, this guy does all the training necessary to get to the level of fighting the opponent that he has to fight. So he knows what he has to do, the tests that he has to pass, all the tests that he does in training, the jogging, the lifting weights, the hand-eye coordination tests, everything, his speed, whatever it is. If he can't get to a level that he has to get in order to be ready for the fight, he's not going to fight. He's too smart for that. If his cardio won't let him get there, if his speed is not there, he's not going to take the fight. He either won't take it or he'll just hang it up. But the guy is able to get through the vigorous training that he has to do in order to get to the level of fighting his opponent. So before every fight, he's ready. And it shows. All his fights are good fights. All of them. The fights that he's lost, the fights that he's won. You don't see him gassing. You don't see him getting embarrassed. You don't see anything like that with guys that get older and lose fights in an embarrassing fashion because you can say age is an element to why they lost. So that's out of the equation here, guys. I don't know why people don't look at it this way. And that's why I'm doing this. I want to tell you that this is the way you should look at it. So if he's fighting somebody, you're going to see the real Randy Couture. The younger one or the older one. He's going to be there and he's going to be fighting to the best of his abilities. Okay, now let's get on to this prediction. If this fight happens, first of all, I want to throw in a bit of a rant here. I really don't want to see this fight. I want to see Randy Couture being in title contention because that's where he should be. Just look at the light heavyweight division right now. Who is dominant as Randy Couture is? Now you have Shogun. He's getting the rematch. He's dominant. There's no question about that after the fight that they've had the first time. So he's going to fight Machida. We know that already. The rematch is already in place. Now, as far as Randy Couture is concerned, he should be getting a title shot. Now, the question is, he's going to have to wait a long time because those guys aren't going to fight right away. And after they fight, of course, either of those guys are going to need some time to prepare for the next fight. So he may be out a very long time. I wanted to mention something really interesting. I want to know if you guys agree with this because I really think it's something that should happen. Randy Couture has a chance to make serious history here, and he has a very good chance of doing it. He should fight for the middleweight title. Why? Because who's the champion right now in the middleweight division? Anderson Silva. Who is Anderson Silva fighting? Damian Maia. Let me ask you guys a question. Who would you rather see fight Anderson Silva? Damian Maia or Randy Couture? Think about that. Think about it seriously. And let me tell you something that might help you come up with an answer. Anderson Silva is no ordinary middleweight. He's 205 pounds. The 205-pound weight class is in the light heavyweight division. which is bigger guys and heavier guys. So if you can be 205 pounds and contend in the middleweight division, then light heavyweights can go there too. And of course, these weight classes are next door neighbors to each other, so to speak. But just think about it. If Randy Couture can get a shot at Anderson Silva, not only would that be a great fight, Couture would be able to do something called a trifecta. He would be able to accomplish getting 3 championship belts in 3 different weight classes in his career. No fighter has ever done that before. So, I mean, I don't know what his ambitions are. He said he's not fighting for titles anymore, but I'm sure he wants the best competition, and he's in title contention right now. Now, anyway, let's get to the prediction. If this fight does happen, Rich Franklin, let's just talk about a little bit about him. He's a very accomplished fighter. He has a lot of victories under his belt. He's a former champion. He's got good hands. He can strike well. But I just think that Randy Couture is too much for this guy. Couture is too strong. He's too big. He's just too tough for Franklin. And the reason I say that is because Randy Couture absolutely beat up and dominated a guy at his own game called Vitor Belfort. And if you remember the last fight that Franklin just came from, I mean, we haven't seen Franklin until he got knocked out in only a couple of minutes into the first round. And that defeat was total. It was absolutely total, guys. These two guys, people expected it to be a good fight, but it was just complete, total domination. It wasn't even domination. It didn't get to that point. He was just knocked out in short order, very quickly. So basically, I mean, if Vitor Belfort can do that to Rich Franklin, and then if Randy Couture can dominate Vitor Belfort the way he did, he beat Belfort up and beat him at his own game. How is Rich Franklin to contend with Couture? The way I see the fight happening, I see Randy Couture striking with Franklin, and if not, he may take it to the cage like he usually does and do some Greco-Roman on him, dirty boxing. But the way I see the fight happening, it may be early TKO, referee's unanimous decision. That's if it happens. That's the way I see it, guys. So a lot to talk about here. I would like you guys to leave some comments. What do you think about Randy Couture possibly taking a shot at that middleweight division title? And also, what you think about this fight happening? What do you think about Franklin Couture? Should it happen? Who do you think would win? Leave some comments below the video. Please rate this video and subscribe, and thank you for tuning in.